Okay.
Up here, guys and girls, give your attention to drugs. This starts off our alcohol, tobacco, and other drug unit, so you need to pay attention. You will be quizzed on it. You know how to behave. I'm going to hand it over to him and let him get going.
All right, thank you. So we're in an echoey room, so I'm going to try not to be too loud, but loud enough for everyone to hear me. So he's kind of already done a small introduction. So we're here to talk about, he said, drugs and alcohol, tobacco. How many of you guys know what you think of the gist of the direction we're going to be talking about, drugs and alcohol? Anybody? What? The uses of them? Secondhand use. Anybody else? How to prevent addiction? Addiction itself. All right, I'll get one more. Go ahead. Lifelong I like that answer. That's a good answer. I really like that answer. So, have you guys ever had DARE class before? DARE, like D-A-R-E? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, right? So, back in my day, I'm not super old, but I'm quite a bit, I guess, older than you guys and ladies. They had DARE, right? And it was where the police people came in and were like, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. It'll kill you and it'll ruin your life, right? And they had pictures of the worst of the worst. You know, if you do drugs, you'll look like this. If you do meth, you do cocaine. And so it was all these pictures of how bad you can look if you do the drugs. Well, for me, the problem with that is I knew a lot of people who did those drugs and they did not look anything like that. And so I did not 100% buy in to what they were saying drugs are bad, right? And so anyway, how many of you guys have some type of understanding of drugs and alcohol, whether it be from a mom or dad drinks wine, smokes weed, an uncle, an aunt, a cousin, right? Most people, whether you're raising your hand or not, I know a lot of people have some type of experience with family members who are at least using some type of substance, right? And for a lot of us, we don't see the negative effects. It looks fun, it looks like a good time, right? And so we have two ends of the spectrum. We hear really, really good things about drugs and alcohol. We see a lot of movies and videos. Maybe we have some friends and where they're going out, they're having fun, they're having the time of their weekend. Maybe they're having, you know, they're getting laid, and it's like, man, you know, these things look entertaining. These things look like they could be fun. And so some of these things don't look that bad. Or you have a complete opposite end of it, and it's like, don't do drugs, it'll kill you, it'll ruin your life. And so there is no in between. And so today what we're here to do is kind of talk to you guys a lot about the in-between. You know, we're here to simply tell you guys what we've done. We're not here to tell you guys anything what to do and what not to do. The only thing we're really going to try to persuade you guys to do is to use communication, to use your words and to talk about some of the things that you're going through. Other than that, our message is not for you guys to do and not to do things, but it's more of a message of to think about some of the things that we have done and we're trying to share with you, right? So for you sports fans, me, I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. I was. He retired, right? But so maybe whatever your sport is, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry, maybe you're a golfer, so you like Tiger Woods, or maybe you like tennis, or maybe you like something other sport, right? So think, if whatever your favorite sport is, if you had two athletes, one being, if you're a basketball fan, one being Steph Curry, and the other one being like Tiger Woods, and you're trying to work on your jump shot, are you going to want to listen to Tiger Woods, or are you going to listen to Steph Curry? Steph Curry, right? Because he has experience on what you're trying to overcome and what you're trying to get better at. Me and my friend over here, we are the Steph Currys, the Michael Jordans of doing drugs and screwing our lives up. We are very good. We did it for a long time. We've done a lot of things that led us to a lot of other situations in our life, and so we're here to simply tell you we've been there. Hopefully you may be able to relate. Maybe you'll be able to get something from some of the stuff that we share with you. Secondly, some of the stuff we're going to share with you guys is going to be raw. It's going to be we're giving you exactly how it is. I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not here to lie to anybody. I'm not here to make you feel good or bad, but this is my life and I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to sit there and try to cut things out because it's going to make you feel better. Some of the things are emotional. Some of the things are real. Some of the things you guys may be going through right now, and it's going to maybe hit you in a different way because you understand exactly what I'm talking about, and it makes you feel like, man, this is my life. And he understands what I'm going through. And my whole life, the things that I didn't talk about was because I did not think anybody understood the pain, the trauma, the struggles of what it's like to be me. Nobody understands what it's like to be me. And because if you did, you would understand and do the exact same things I do. And so these are some of the things we're going to talk about today, right? And so one of the first things I want to ask you guys is trauma. How many of you guys know what trauma is? Right? A lot of people know what trauma is. Does anyone want to volunteer to give me what you think a definition of trauma is? Go ahead.
Something in your past that reflects to you in the future.
So something about your past that reflects your future, that it pretty much, it dictates on how you act, on what you think about, how you dress, maybe how you talk, the way that it affects your future, right? It affects the way you live. It affects a lot of things in your future. Go ahead. Say that last part again.
It said it affects the way you think and your values of the world.
The values, I like that. Absolutely. So it affects everything. The trauma that you experience affects everything. And so a lot of us know about trauma. A lot of us can identify trauma in certain areas, but a lot of us, we cut short other traumas because it's not that big. It's not that bad. Is rape trauma? Absolutely, right? And it may seem like a silly question. What about being molested? That trauma? Yeah. What about physical abuse? Trauma? Yeah. What about maybe watching somebody get beat and somebody die? Trauma? Yeah. What about someone telling you you're too short? Yeah. Yes. No. See, I hear yes, I hear no, right? And I even hear snickers, right? What about someone telling you you're too tall? Is that trauma? Yeah. What about someone saying you're fat? Is that trauma? No? Yes. What about someone telling you you're too skinny? Yes. No. I hear a mixture, right? And so going back to the definition we heard, it changes the way that I live. It changes the way that I think. It changes my emotions, right? And so just because I've been made fun of my whole life and people call me fat, you guys, sounds like a majority, don't think it's that big of a trauma. It may be trauma, but it's not as bad as being raped, right? That's the perception, but the trauma has now, because I have been made fun of most of my life of being called fat, it now makes me see myself different. I don't put on shirts, I don't put on certain clothes, I don't eat certain foods, I don't eat around certain people because I'm afraid what you're going to think of me. I'm afraid that you may view me as a certain way, and so I avoid certain things, and it's changed the way that I live. It changed the way that I think. It changes what I do. So would that not seem like trauma? Is that not the same as being raped in the aspect of the trauma? Because anytime you see a male or anytime you go down a dark alley, you relive that moment, so you avoid all men, you avoid all dark alleys because of what has happened. It changes the way they feel, it changes the way they live, it changes everything about them. But what about the person who's changed the way that they eat, the person who makes themselves get sick after they eat, the person who goes ahead and is anorexic or bulimia, all because it started when they got made fun of as a kindergartner? Is that not trauma? Is that not to the same extent of this trauma? Maybe not in a world view, but if it changes everything that I do, the way that I live, the way that I think, the way that I see myself, is that not equal trauma? It is. And you see, we're talking about drugs and alcohol, and here I am over here. Trauma is what it seems like. But trauma is what gets me to do any and everything. Trauma is the reason that I do the things that I do. Why did I love drugs? Why did I love getting drunk and high? Because, man, it changed the way I felt. And you see, these are the things that we're constantly trying to do. Why do you buy the certain parts of shoes that you buy, the cell phones you buy? Whatever it is that you and your friends all do, you want to be accepted. And so you jump into the same category that they may like because you want to feel a part of, right? Because of trauma, my whole life I felt apart from. You see, now I'm going to get into my personal story, because a lot of things I'm talking about won't make sense until you can see what exactly it is that I'm talking about. At a young age, I had daddy issues. Anyone got daddy issues? Understand what I'm talking about? I have daddy issues. I have bad daddy issues. My dad never used to really tell me he loved me. My dad always told my mom and my sisters, I love you. My mom and my sisters always told my dad, I love you. The first time I remember telling my dad, I love you, he beat the piss out of me. Why? Because men don't tell other men, I love you. Men don't give other men hugs. Men who are acting like this. You shut up, you don't talk about your emotions, you don't talk about your feelings, you suck it up, you get over it, you greet each other with handshakes, and you're tough, you're strong, you don't talk about your weaknesses. All I heard as a 5 and 6 year old was, man, my dad don't love me. Because if he did love me, he'd surely say, I love you too. Because he says it to my mom and sisters, right? And so, for me, that's a form of trauma. It may sound silly to some, or some of you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe some of you are in a foster care. Maybe some of you live with a stepmom or stepdad or your aunt and your uncle because your mom and dad decided to give you up as a foster care, as an adoption, because they couldn't take care of you. And now that you're old enough, you start to understand, like, what is wrong with me that my mom and dad couldn't quit doing drugs just to love me? Am I not lovable? Am I not good enough? Is what I am as a child, what is wrong with me that you can't stop doing these things for me? Man, there's got to be something wrong with me. And so I carry that. I carry that trauma with me, right? That was my daddy issue. My dad didn't love me is what I thought. And some of you guys can understand what I'm talking about, right? And so now I get a little bit older. I'm in 1st and 2nd grade. I hated going home. My dad doesn't love me is my thought process. My dad does love me, and I understand that today, but then it didn't matter. That was my truth. That was my reality. Dad didn't love me. I go to school 1st, 2nd grade. People make fun of me. People call me fat. I hated going to school. I came home crying day after day because people were mean to me. I hated going to school because I'm fat. Nobody likes me. I hate going home. My dad doesn't love me. I started to hate myself. I hated the person that I was. I remember being 2nd and 3rd grade just wishing and praying I would die. And this is before a drug has ever entered my body. These are the things that are going on in a kid's head. That's not normal. But unfortunately, because of the way that we live today, for a lot of you, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And it has become normal. It has become a normal way of life just to shut up, suck it up, get over it, and to mask. Let me just play video games. Let me just drink. Let me just smoke. Let me just do something to make me feel different. And that is another form of addiction. And that is what we're talking about today. It's drugs and alcohol, but we're talking about the addiction that makes us feel different. Because that is why I drank and I drug, because I wanted to feel different. And my whole life, I never felt good enough. I never felt like I was enough. And so as I get older, I have a mom and dad still married today. I had a good life, right? My dad didn't beat me up and abuse me all day, every day. There's moments that I remember that I got disciplined, but my dad was not like that. I had a pretty good childhood, right? Mom, dad, still together, older sister, younger sister, moved around most of my life, every 3 years, moving around. My dad's in the military, right? And so we're constantly moving. I was born in Germany. From Germany, we moved to Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania to Kansas, Kansas to California, California back to Germany, right? And so I'm used to moving constantly, and I'm constantly getting new friends. I'm constantly have to become like a chameleon. I'm constantly have to blend in where I'm at. I'm constantly used to making new friends. I'm constantly joining new crowds. I'm constantly adapting. If you guys like basketball, I'm all in basketball. I'm going to go home and do my research. And then I move. If you guys are into skateboarding, I'm going to jump into skateboarding. And I move. And if you guys are into football, I'm going to be into football. I'm constantly changing who I am depending on who I am around because I want to be accepted. What is peer pressure? Anybody? What is peer pressure? Go ahead, sir. So that is very good, and that is one form of peer pressure. I'm forcing you. You want to get drunk tonight? Wrong answer. Do you want to get drunk tonight? No. Come on, let's get drunk. Come on, you know Jason or you know Devin's going to be there, and you know he's going to be getting drunk. You don't want to get drunk? Come on, it's going to be a good time. Let's get drunk. Let's get drunk. Let's get drunk, right? That is one form of peer pressure. What is the other form of peer pressure? Anybody?
Like, they don't even have to say it to you. Just everyone else is doing it.
Amen. Absolutely. So, and I'll get back to you in a second. What he just said is another form of peer pressure is nobody even says anything to you. You guys want to fit in with this group over here, and they don't even have to say anything to you. You see they're doing something, and so you guys just start jumping in because you don't like who you are, and because you want to be accepted over here, you're going to do what they do. And so you pressure yourself. You press yourself by what your peers are doing. That is peer pressure as well. It doesn't always have to be somebody coming up into your grill saying, let's get drunk. Jason is there. Come on, let's go, let's go. Another form of peer pressure is in your own head of saying, I need to do this. I want to be accepted. My friends are all into football. My friends are all into basketball. I hate basketball. It's the stupidest thing ever, but I want to get into it and I want to be accepted. So I'm going to keep doing it over and over and over until I know everything about it because I want to be accepted. Why do you like Jordans? Why do you like cell phones or iPhones over Android? Why do you like Jordans over Shaqs? Why do you like whatever brand that you like over with something else? Because 9 times out of 10, it's a social acceptability, and I want to be accepted by my peers. And again, I'm going all around, and I haven't even really talked much about drinks and drugs yet. These are all the feelings and emotions that we have that we don't give it the credit, and we don't really talk about it. We don't talk about the things that's really going on, especially as men. Why? What happens if you tell your friend over here, sir, that's on your cell phone? What happens if you go ahead and tell him that he made you sad because he said you're ugly? He said, hey, man, that makes me sad. What would you do?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care? What about if he does it too?
I wouldn't care.
Because you what?
I know I ain't.
You know you ain't ugly? What about if he hits a trauma, though, for you? Something that you grew up with. What if he says something about your mama? Right? What if he says something about your daddy? What if he hits a nerve in you that you're not ready for? Rather than telling him, hey, bro, you hurt my feelings because I have issues with that, you're ready to fight somebody. Right? Because that's what men do. We want to show our masculinity. We want to show you how tough and strong we are. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that rather than hurting my feelings, I'm just going to fight you. Because men don't talk about the real stuff that's going on. Most women don't either. You either cry about it, and I'm not trying to say all girls are criers, but you either cry about it or you just suck it up and don't say anything about it. You don't really talk about what's bothering you. You don't talk about your friends talking about you. You don't talk about the issues. Instead, you suck it up and get over it, or you go ahead and display it in a different way. These are the things that drove me to getting drunk and getting high. Finally, when I moved to Germany, you guys ever lie about stuff that you never really did? Anybody? Right? Like, I remember right before when I moved to Germany, I had friends and they talked about they drank. They're like, yeah, we drink all the time. I'm like, yeah, man, me too. I used to drink all the time, you know. And so anyway, my 6th grade summer to my 7th grade summer, I made some new friends in Germany, and they were talking about how they always drink and how they're, able to buy it off of the German economy. You don't believe me? You can Google it. The legal drinking age in Germany is 16 years old. You can legally buy beer and wine cooler in Germany at 16. At 18, you can buy liquor. And so for me, because me and my friends had a military ID card, we could go into the German gas station to just flash our card. They automatically see identification, so they let you get on your way. And so here we are, we're walking, and my friend's been talking about it. I don't think it's really going to happen, so I'm lying till the wheels fall off, like, yeah, man, I do it all the time. Well, push comes to shove, they actually get the alcohol, and they start opening, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, now I got to do it. Now I have to get drunk because I've been lying and telling them I do this all the time. And if I look like a coward and I don't do it, they're going to know I was lying. They're not going to accept me as their friends maybe. And these are all things that are going in my head. And I won't fit in. I need to fit in. I want to be liked. So what do? I start drinking. Right? And I'll tell you what happened when I started drinking. And I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but some of you guys already know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys are already drinking. Some of you guys are already smoking. Some of you guys have already been getting away with some of this stuff. And so in that moment when I finally started to drink, I started to feel a little like warmth on the inside. The more that I drank, the warmer I felt, and I started to feel tingly and I started to feel numb. But the thing that really numbed everything was in my mind. I no longer was thinking about my daddy issues. I was no longer thinking about people making fun of me. I was no longer worried about what anyone thought about me. That's what it was. I was no longer worried about what anyone thought about me. The more that I drank, the more that I started to feel good about myself. And in that moment, I was like, man, this is it. I want to be like this for the rest of my life. I love the way that it made me feel, right? And so I started drinking. I drank more and more and more and more. And I'm just here to tell you, getting drunk, getting high, for me in the very beginning, man, it was a blast. I had so much fun. I had the time of my life, right? And I'm not here to tell you guys that, so you guys, if you're not drinking and drugging, you go out and try it. That's not why I'm telling you. I'm here telling you that because I'm being as honest as possible. And when I was your guys' age, getting drunk, getting high, the only consequence that ever came was I'd get trouble every now and then. I'd get grounded for a week or two, and I'd go right back to doing what I was doing. Other than that, nothing bad happened. And so it was fun. And because some of you guys are already having this fun, right? And so the things that I was constantly running from, like my daddy issues. You see, I also didn't tell you this. Not only did I get made fun of a lot, when I was in about 3rd and 4th grade, I got molested for a few years. And it happened so much and it happened so often that I thought it was normal. I thought this is what happens. I didn't think anything was wrong with it until all of a sudden I figured out that there was something wrong with it, and then that just added more and more fuel to my fire, saying something is wrong with me. Something is broken within me that somebody would do this to me. And I didn't understand why these things were happening. And so this just led more and more reasons why I hated who I was. And you see, when you don't like who you are, you do anything to change the way you feel. And so that's what I did. And so as I get older, my little sister, she was 12 years old. We moved from Germany to Kentucky. When we moved over here, she was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer. Any of you guys have younger siblings? Anybody? I saw some head nods, all right. What's your job as the older sibling? Take care of them, protect them, make sure they're okay. Go ahead.
Be their influence.
Be their influence, right? So you're supposed to take care. Go ahead. You're supposed to watch over them, right? That is your responsibility, more or less. And so my whole life growing up, my little sister was my responsibility. And my dad never came up and said, you know, you've been a good big brother. I'm proud of you, yada, yada, yada. But I felt like this would be the one thing my dad would be proud of me for. And here she is. She's diagnosed with cancer. And you know what I can do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So from the age 12 to 15, it was in remission. And then by the age 15, it came back. And it came back strong, right? And so we're talking about trauma. And so during this time period, I'm drinking, I'm starting to smoke weed, I'm starting to pop pain pills, I'm starting to do harder stuff because the weed and the alcohol is just not quite doing it. It's not quite numbing all these things that are going wrong in my life, so I have to start doing more. I start doing different instead of just popping it, then you start snorting it. And then after you start snorting, you start shooting it up. And then after you start shooting it up, and you have to, and that's not doing it, and then you go to a different drug. Then you go to heroin, or then you go to methamphetamine, and then you start going constantly more and more and more. It's never enough, right? And so next thing I know, my little sister is in the hospital. And they're saying she's not going to make it. They say she's going to die. And they say she has less than 24 hours. And so when I finally get to the hospital, I watch my little sister in her bed. And they had done so many emergency surgeries on my sister that her face was so swollen, they had to put her in an induced coma because she was in so much pain, and they said she was going to die. It was just not of how long, it was a matter of hours. And as an older brother, again, seeing the one thing that I thought that I was somewhat good at, there in her bed, unconscious, moaning and groaning because of all the surgeries they had, all of the pain that she was enduring. And I'm telling you, like, we talk about trauma. It took me a good 7-8 years to be able to walk back into the hospital, because every time I walked into a hospital, I would hear my little sister groaning in so much pain. I would literally witness my little sister die right in front of me. I watched my little sister moan and groan and take her last breaths as the beeping's beeping longer and longer until it's getting shorter, and it's going a little shorter and a little shorter until you just hear it flatline. I watched my little sister die right in front of me. I watched my little sister take her last breaths. And it killed me. That absolutely killed me. And I carried that burden and that pain of how much I hated any and everybody around me, because you don't know what it's like to go through the things that I've been through. That's my thought. And so what do? I hurt any and everybody who comes into my path because I'm hurting. So I get drunk, I get high, I get locked up, I go in and out of jail, I keep trying to change. I didn't know how to change. Drugs always took me a little bit farther than I ever wanted to go. I always said I would stop before I sold drugs. Well, then I started selling drugs. And then I said, well, at least I'm not doing the hard drugs. Well, then I started doing the hard drugs. Well, at least I'm not snorting the hard drugs. At least, I'm not doing that. And then I started doing it. Well, at least I'm not shooting up, the pills. And then it's always one more step. And you always look at the person who's farther than you rather than how far you've already come. What about a homeless person? Anybody ever think a homeless person woke up, when they were a sophomore, freshman, junior, was like, yeah, baby, when I grow up, I'm going to be a homeless person. I'm going to be the baddest panhandler ever. No, what happened? They didn't think it would happen to them. They thought they could stop before they get that bad. And that's what that's what you guys are thinking right now. Like, dang, that sucks, some of the stuff he's went through, but I'm not that stupid. I'm not that dumb. I won't let it get that bad. I can stop before it ever gets there. And you see, that was what my thought was. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to shut up and let Kron take over. My disease of addiction is like a baby. What does a baby do when it's hungry? Wah, right? It cries. Wah. How do you get the baby to be quiet? No, you don't spank it. You give it what it wants, right? You feed the baby, all right? And what happens when that baby's hungry about 3 or 4 hours later? What does it do? Wah, cries again, right? How do you get the baby to be quiet? You feed it again. And then what happens when the baby poops or the baby pees or the baby's tired and he wants to be held and it wants to be put down and wants to be put to sleep? It wants its butts chained. It cries and cries and cries, and it controls your mom and dad to get up, to wake up, to go to sleep. When it wants to, whatever it wants, it cries. This baby on the inside of me is my drug addiction. This baby controls me and tells me when to eat, when to sleep, when to get high, when to go do anything. Any of you guys ever been sick before to where you're throwing up and you can't really control it, and you're sweating and you're cold at the same time, and maybe you're pooping on yourself, you really can't control nothing, and you're peeing on yourself? I've lost some people, right? How many of you guys ever been so hot and so cold at the same time, and you're sweating bullets, and you're throwing up all at once, and you're pooping and you're peeing on yourself, and the only thing that you can't stop thinking about is drugs, and the only reason that I feel like this is because I've done drugs for so long that my body has become chemically dependent on them, that they're saying, feed me, wah, give me drugs, wah, I need more drugs, wah, and my baby's saying, I need more, give me more, you don't want to feed me, and the way it cries, it makes me poop, pee, throw up, it makes me do all these things. You know how long this baby will cry for? Not quite months. Either till it gets exactly what it wants, or you can be doing this for at least anywhere from 7, 10, 14 days. And it doesn't just happen once. You don't just poop one time and be like, oh, I'm good until tomorrow. It happens over and over and over, and it's literally uncontrollable. Your body has become chemically dependent on the chemicals that you have put in it. Now, this is a way that it's reacting when it wants more. The way to make this baby shut up almost instantly is giving it the drug. You give that baby drugs, and it will be quiet for 3 to 4 hours. It will be quiet, and you'll stop pooping and peeing. So this is why it's not so easy to get off drugs. Because even after you get through the physical, the mental part is the hardest thing you guys would ever understand. It's like me taking all of your guys' cell phones and telling you not to think about it for the next 90 days to a year. Don't even think about it. Don't think about social media. Don't think about anything that entails your cell phone. Some of you guys would be like, oh, that'd be easy. And some of y'all understand how hard that would really be. Anything that entails your cell phone, that would be difficult. And so these are the same things that we think about when it comes to drugs. We think about all the fun and the good times we had. So it's not always so easy just to get off drugs. So we are here simply to tell you we've been there. We've done a lot of stuff. It took us a long, long road to get off of the drugs. One thing that we thought was just going to be fun in high school turned out to just being fun as I'm just graduating high school, turned out to being one more fun day. Before I know it, I'm 22, 23 years old, still living in my mom's basement getting drunk and high, doing the exact same thing as I thought I was doing when I was in middle and high school. It will happen to any and everybody, and it does not have to be some of the things that I went through, some of the things that he's going to share that he went through for you to end up like this. The picture-perfect drug addict is not the man holding a sign saying needs help, God bless, needs change. It can be the doctor. It can be the stay-at-home mom. It can be any and everybody. It does not discriminate whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're black, whether you're white, male, female. It does not matter. It can affect any and everybody. And some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about because some of you guys have family. And with that, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to pass it over to Karan.
Oh. Let me put it in. What's happening, y'all? What's going on? My name's Karan. Give me a little background on myself. I'm from Northern Kentucky, Newport. Close by, Cincinnati. Had mom, had dad. Didn't really kick it with my dad as much. I was a mama's boy because I knew I can get whatever I want out of my mama. I was raised by 4 women: my mom, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my great aunt. They raised me right. They raised me to know from right from wrong. Yet, though, as I was getting older, I knew that I could manipulate them in ways that I thought I couldn't. And this is before, like, you know, the drugs and all that other stuff happened. I was already having traits of like behaviors that might lead to that path. Growing up, I got picked on. They used to make fun of me because I had a big bottom lip. I still do, but like they used to make fun of my lip. Who in here has ever seen Forrest Gump? All right, y'all remember Forrest's friend in the movie? What was his name? Bubba? That's what my nickname was. Yeah, Bubba Gump, shrimp, you hear me? So like, you know, like I said, they used to make fun of my lip. I remember, cause he was talking about different shoes and like what you would wear and what people used to make fun of. So we had these shoes back in the day, they was boots. They was called lugs. And if you walked into school with a pair of lugs, you was the joke of the whole school. I used to not want to go to school because people used to make fun of me. I used to skip lunch because people used to make fun of me, try to dodge all the jokesters and everything. Wasn't until, you know, I want to say for real, all this really happened when I started high school. I was a freshman. In order for me to not get made fun of, I had to be an observer. I had to see what other people were doing. I had to become a follower. I had to see what you was doing, and if I think it was not gonna get me made fun of, then I'm gonna do that. So my friends, they used to smoke weed. So I'm like, well, if I smoke with them, then they'll let me in, they'll never make fun of me. You know what I'm saying? We'll make fun of everybody else. Which we did, we made fun of people. My sophomore year, we had homecoming. And after the homecoming dance, I had my first alcoholic drink. It was a beer. It was called a Keystone. Having that, I felt that, you know, I finally have arrived where I need to be. Like, I can be accepted now because I'm drinking with a bunch of people that already been doing this stuff. Parents really don't care that they do this. My aunt cared though. That's, like I said, that's who like raised me, my aunt and everybody, the ladies, right? So I had a curfew. My curfew was 11 on the weekends, 10 on the weekdays, right? Wasn't allowed having a cell phone yet. None of that stuff existed. You can't have no cell phone in here. So I would lie to her and say that, hey Sylvia, I called you off somebody's phone and you didn't answer and I didn't want to be stuck outside. But in all reality, I stayed where I was at to keep on drinking and everything else. Played sports. My favorite sport's basketball. I play basketball and I also play football. I was a defensive end on football. Basketball, you wouldn't believe it. I was like 5'11", 6 foot, and I played center. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. I didn't get it either. I was mad. But it kind of like, I was so upset about the position I played that I kind of like didn't have a care for my senior year for real. So I got back into the smoking the weed and I got back into the drinking. I really became a certified lover boy. I was really into the women. As all this is happening, right? Like, so now that like I done really gave up on my senior year, only thing I like to do is drink, smoke, and have sex. So now that, like I said, all this is happening, those three things is going down, Years have gone past. I tried to go to college. I got kicked out my first semester. I didn't even make a semester. Got kicked out because I chose to drink, not go to class, cuss my teachers out, not show up to basketball practice, any of that stuff, man. Like, I didn't want to do any of that because I felt like this was more important. Like, this ain't nothing better than this. There's nothing better than this. So, as I got kicked out of semester, my drinking habits became very horrible. I got me a girlfriend, right? Got me a girlfriend. I ended up getting this girl pregnant. So she was pregnant. My drinking habits was very bad still. She ended up leaving, going to Las Vegas while she was pregnant with my son, right? So I'm begging her to come back. I'll stop drinking if you come back. Please come back. But I ain't gonna stop drinking though. I'm gonna just say whatever I can just to get her to come back, because you wrong for leaving and taking my son with you. I don't care if it's because I drink or not. Like, you dead wrong for that. But I'm not like looking at her feelings on why she left. I'm selfish. I'm very selfish. Personally, I don't care about you. I care about what's important to me, and that's getting drunk or getting high. So she comes back home, and getting ready to deliver the baby. I'm so selfish, right? While she's getting ready to give birth to my son, I'm in a bathroom with a bottle of vodka on the phone with another woman texting her asking when I come see her. You know? Selfish, dog. To the core. So, my son was born. That was a traumatic thing too. I don't really talk about that as much, man. When I came back from texting, as she was giving the birth, I walked in as soon as he was getting ready to come out. When he came out, his umbilical cord was wrapped around his throat, and they cracked his shoulder. He was blue in the face. I thought my son was gone. Luckily, before I get ready to drop down to my knees, my mom grabs me. She said, "Don't you give up on that boy." And as I'm watching the doctors, do their little thing and everything, I'm just praying that God will bring my son back. All I heard was a smack on the butt. Here comes Sire. He's crying. So I knew my son was alive. Miracle. But the fact was that they said they was doing one thing and they did another, and actually watching my son come out and be dead really did something to me. So now I became very depressed because now me and his mother, we ain't getting along. I could barely see him and things like that, right? So I get depressed. I ended up finding me another chick, right? And this time, this chick that I got with, she was 10 years older than me. I was 22, she was 32. I was 22, she was 32. And this is where the life, drinking and smoking and things like that became a whole lot harder for me. Like my man was saying, I'll never do this, but then again, I'm probably doing it, right? So started off was cocaine. Got tricked into doing something else. I got tricked into doing heroin. I was a heroin user for 3 years. Experienced overdose, experienced sleeping in abandoned houses in the cold, sleeping on the concrete, getting kicked out of other people's houses because the girl I was with was stealing. I was helping her steal too. I'm not gonna tell you that though. Then after those 3 years of going through all that, I became a methamphetamine user. And within all this too, like with those two drugs, and within those 3 years, and the 3 years I was doing that, I was also a needle user too. So, you know, the years of my methamphetamine use, man, was really tough for me. I've really experienced some stuff that happened, you know. Me and the girl, we break up. I don't know where she went. I really didn't care, because all I cared about was just keep getting one in, because I need it. I'm already done hit to the point where I don't have a care in the world no more. Like the F it button is what we call it. Like, I hit it. So by all means necessary. Fellas, question. Do you think, or do you believe that a man can be sexually assaulted, sexually abused? Do you think a man can be raped, not by men, but by women? So, this is where it gets tough. So, like I said, years go by. I'm in and out of jail and things like that. I still want to keep on going. I still want to keep on going, because what the thing is that I'm chasing something that I did the first time and expecting the same result, but it's not. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? Insanity. How wise it go? Doing the same thing, but expecting the different results. That's what it was for me, getting high. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking for that first time, but it's never gonna be like the first time. So I'm going through all this crazy stuff just to catch that first time. Okay. Yeah, you good? All right. That first time, right? So within that, I met this chick, right? It was a friend of mine. Now, I'm thinking this girl's cool, we cool, you know what I'm saying? I don't know anything when it comes to being on drugs. You can't trust nobody, because you don't know what they up to. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's your friend if you got something in your pocket. Because that's how I was. If you got something in your pocket and you trying to share, then I'm your friend all day. Right? So we go upstairs into this room. We partying, we having a good time. It's just me and her. Right? I go to the bathroom. She follows me. And I'm not thinking nothing of it on why she's following me, right? And she's following me. I'm like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? And she's like, oh, nothing. I have this in my pocket I want to share with you. I'm like, okay, I'm with it. I don't care what it is. I don't know what it is. So she hits me in the arm, and I instantly fall out. I remember being clothed too when I fell. When I woke up, my pants were halfway down to my knees, boxers too. I was sweating. I look over, there's like a small thing of Narcan next to me. And I don't have a clue on what's going on. And I wake up, pull my pants up. I get myself together. You know, I'm so lost on it. As I'm getting myself together, I turn around. She's pulling her pants up and getting herself together too. Right then and there, I already knew what had happened. Being able to cope with that, you know, some people, when I tell people this, they be like, well, dang, how was it, bro? Like, dang, like, was it nice? Did she? I'm like, bro, like, how am I, like, no, I don't, ew, like, gross anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you, like, why would, like, for real, man. Like, and like, you know, today, like, when I talk to people about it, like, I got some genuine people in my life today, right? So I could tell them about all this stuff. And they ain't like judging me and asking me silly questions because, well, that was traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just took my manhood, you know? You just took something from me, you know? And how I see it is because, like I said, I got a son. He's autistic. And I'd be upset if somebody was to take advantage of him like that. I don't know what I would do. If I had a daughter and somebody did that too, I would lose it. I would lose it. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I'm losing it. But I'm not gonna sit up here and act like and cry like I'm a victim, which I am. But today I embrace that, you know, because I could come up in here and I could talk to you people about it. Like I could tell y'all about it. You know what I'm saying? That this don't have to happen to y'all. Like it doesn't. I ain't up here to tell y'all, like my man said, I'm not up here to tell y'all not to do drugs. I'm not to tell y'all to do drugs. You feel me? Like you guys are your own person. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. But hopefully what I'm saying to y'all today, y'all have a perspective on it, on why y'all don't wanna be right here where I'm at talking about this. Today, I live an okay life, you know. I ain't rich, I ain't poor, I ain't broke, but today I got some peace in my life, you know. Today I could wake up with a smile on my face, you know what I mean? Today I could wake up and knowing that I don't have to go back and do that stuff again. I don't have to today, you know? I just want to say thank y'all for allowing me to come out here. This is my first time ever coming out to school, speaking to kids. Y'all like, man, this is just, I just remember when I was like, y'all, I didn't get this though. Nobody came to school and told me how bad drugs were. All I heard was how good they were. How I can get this and how I can get her and how we can, you know, sell a dream. I didn't know that all like it come with being sick, robbing people, like family members. I didn't know it comes with going to jail, catching felonies, none of that stuff. I didn't know any of that stuff. But like I said, man, just give y'all a perspective on what's out there. Y'all know right from wrong. Just don't get it switched up. That's all I got. Thank you.